Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you for clicking on the video. Cancer, this is your September monthly reading. Let's get into it. I am starting with an oracle card. I do want to see what energy you're basking in this month. The Stag, take the lead. Okay, you're being prompted. It could be obviously in any sphere of your life, taking the lead, even just being maybe more outgoing, feeling like you need to show what you're made of, something of the sort. Let's pull a planet and see which one is most prominent in your natal charts, regardless of the transits and whatnot. Neptune will be quite, or could be active or acting up, so to speak. So a lot of your, everything that's related to imagination, to dreams, the things that are uncertain. We don't always like uncertainty, don't we? But Neptune has this quality, right, of blurring the lines and making things a little bit fuzzy for us. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's less desirable. Let's start pulling the tarot. You're going to be really spending a lot of time daydreaming. Could be meditating, but you'll be very, very focused on your inner life, focused on your spirituality, on your rituals. You could be wanting to, I'm hearing solve something, but not intellectually, just like you want something to just dissolve some, either like a knot. It could be just like feeling stressed and wanting that to just dissolve itself by being very quiet, attentive, and turned inward. So like some kind of, like doing the work without doing the work, you know what I mean? Or not having to push for it. You get the Seven of Cups, which is the illusion card, or at least evaluating like what you could be doing, but it's unrealistic, right? It's having unrealistic expectations because maybe you're blowing things out of proportion. And that's very Neptunian to, again, make it unrealistic. Like it looks really good on paper in your mind, the way you see it. But in actuality, it could be that it's just not feasible, not reasonable, too demanding, too far of a, like too much of a stretch. You're spending a lot of time daydreaming, I can tell you that. Something is going to bring you back to reality with the Tower in the reverse. Something might happen relatively unexpectedly. I say relatively because the Tower card is in the reverse. So I'm thinking that it's possible that you realize how unrealistic you've been, and so you get a wake-up call, something like that. It doesn't have to be something dire or difficult, but you get a jolt, something that takes you out of that particular cloud. This Nine of Cups here in the reverse is gonna burst your bubble. You were really comfortable in that bubble of I'm happy, things are going well, things are the most beautiful they've ever been. But that was everything that you've kept imagining, right? The way you think things are going or wish they were going. So maybe the back to school energy, the change of season, all of that could be contributing to bringing you back to earth, quote unquote, making you realize you have responsibilities. Not that you've been ignoring your responsibilities, but maybe getting back to those more intently. The Empress is in the reverse. So maybe this reality check is your cash flow slowing down, having less of what you think is less opportunities showing up for you. The impression that maybe there's a slowdown, yet there's, like I said, a back to school energy, which points back to what you need to do, but it doesn't mean that you are necessarily busy. Ten of Cups, that's beautiful. Your family's there around you. You've got a lot of love and support. There is someone that could bring you a great idea that you could work with. I think that you'd be excited with that. That's a really positive thing. It feels like someone is actually asking you or showing you, and like pointing you in the right direction for something that they feel would be good for you. The Nine of Wands is in the reverse. They might perceive that you need I'm hearing like a little extra push because you feel like it's arduous to get going, that you're having a hard time like being disciplined and like kind of just being regular, like consistent. The Eight of Wands is in the reverse. You are having like fluctuations here. There are many times that you're, I want to say, backing out of things. What an interesting thing to do though, like never, or not never, but starting things in September, not necessarily finishing them out of either disinterest or a lack of enthusiasm and energy for them. And it's too bad because you're being presented with something positive here, something that could potentially be rewarding. But you seem to prefer to dream your life than to actually put in the actions. It feels like this is your main pain point. Obviously, it could be temporary. I'm not saying that's the way you operate all the time, but it's definitely here, very omnipresent. And so you're getting a jolt. Something is prompting you to get going, a little bit like you've been stung. Let me pull one card on the Tower. I have cards that fell, but I want to go back to the Tower. I just pulled Death on it. So that's 2 Scorpio cards. It feels well, there's maybe something that could show up for you in Scorpio season, so end of October into November. But maybe you have the opportunity to change, make some changes when it comes to that attitude of not wanting to put in the efforts and backing out of things that you start just because you prefer the easy way out. Calling you out here. I want to go back to some cards that fell. I have the Devil in the reverse, releasing something, which is also what you could be transforming. The release could be you deciding, really deciding for yourself that you want to quit a particular habit, realizing that you have a pattern here. I think you want to give yourself more credit, and you want to be your number 1 fan, and it's not happening at the moment. You know what I mean? You're disappointing your own self, kind of thing. One of the way you disappoint yourself is because when you withdraw like that, it's like a coping mechanism. It's a little bit like you withdraw in solitude, so you could daydream, so where you can be in that bubble that feels so much more comfortable than reality. You need to be your own supporter here. You're oscillating greatly between wanting change and not wanting change. You basically, I don't even want to say procrastinate. I think it's really, you're starting a few things and not finishing them more than anything. And you also have the tendency to start over. I see this on both the Wheel in the reverse and the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. You get discouraged when you don't accomplish what you did set out to do, but you basically know this about yourself, which is really twisted here, because you know how you operate and yet you still prefer the easy way out. So I'm not too sure if there's something particular that is scaring you with the Tower in the reverse, with the change that you know is imminent, that you feel inside with the Death card, that you know you're actually changing, and maybe you don't even know how you're changing, and you know what I mean, like you're not exactly sure of which shape you're taking, and maybe that's a little bit confounding. So the advice is to be your own supporter, to be your #1 fan, and to believe in yourself a lot more. To love on yourself as well a lot more. I think you forget who you are with the Empress in the reverse. I think you also forget how well surrounded you are. I think you don't speak up enough. You don't share that side of yourself. You often feel like you're not good enough. I have two cards, well, mainly this one, the Nine of Wands in the reverse. The I'm not good enough syndrome. Let me pull one more card on the Tower and Death. I want to see what scares you this way. The Empress in the reverse. You're afraid of revealing your secrets or thinking that you'd be an open book and not have any more secrets for anyone. I think you're a very private person. I think you have a hard time sharing yourself fully. Straight up. I want to get back to take the lead. This queen here, the Queen of Wands, is a leader. She's the one that believes in herself, and she's her #1 fan. She's her own #1 fan. So you're being asked to believe that. You're being asked to be that in a way. And if you feel like you don't have leadership qualities, well, I guess it's your perception at the moment, but I think that either you'll be forced into a position where you will have to have that side of you come out because it'll be out of sheer survival. There's going to be a situation, I think, that will require that you step up, literally. You really have an opportunity coming. You have to remember someone is about to point you in the right direction. There is something where you could start, obviously, something very new. It'll be very small at the beginning. It's very promising. It requires a lot of discipline. It does require a lot of work. It might have to be done rather by yourself. So relying less on other people's support and help. That might be important for you to note, or to at least be aware of. And maybe that's why taking the lead might lead you into having to do more things on your own. And you might not necessarily like that. You might always have had the support of your family, your loved ones, and maybe you rely on that a little too much. It's very comfortable. It's easy. It's the easy way. I think you're going to be challenged very soon, starting in September, but it's going to increase into October, into November as well. That's what I'm seeing. And you might not recognize yourself eventually. You're going to step up. You're going to level up. Whether you decide to allow this to flow or whether you resist it, I think the transformation will happen. You'll have to show a little bit more of what you're made of, like the real fabric of who you are. I'm going to end the reading here. I hope something resonated in the message for you. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And you know what to do. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care.